Welcome back to Columbus. Released today details on the Olympic qualifying schedule for the Americans. They're going to be starting things off in Houston in Group A, along with Costa Rica, Panama, and Haiti. Group B gets underway as well in Texas. The semifinal and final will be played in Carson, California. Just moments ago, Alex Curry caught up with Carly Lloyd.
Carly, it's only been a week, but as a veteran on this team, what have you liked about what Vlatko has done with this group?
You know, I think he's old school. He's got a philosophy. He's trying to implement it, and I think he just gives the belief in players. And you know, I'm really excited to see what this team is capable of under him, and should be a great evening tonight.
And you're starting with Preston Tobin up top. What do you feel like you need to show Vlatko against Sweden?
You know, I think we just have to be dangerous up top. You know, my job to hold the ball, and Preston Tobin to get down on the flanks. And I think overall, you know, we're working on building out of the back, midfielders connecting, and just trying to be a little bit more sophisticated to get into that final third. And I think it's going to be great.
Well, good luck tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
She is your all-time active Caps leader currently, and boy, does she want to make a first impression tonight. You know, 2019 is starting to wind down. They've only got 2 games left, which includes tonight. But this year didn't start off the way many had hoped. The U.S. closed off a year that started with them dropping their first match of the year. Jill Ellis' side turning in a listless performance in a 3-1 friendly defeat to France. Concerns only grew following a disappointing campaign at the She Believes Cup. The U.S. held to draws by Japan and England, their only victory coming against Brazil. But from the moment the World Cup began on Fox this summer, the Americans showed they had no intention of relinquishing their crown. They opened the group stage with a record 13-0 demolition of Thailand. France thought to be the biggest obstacle on the way to a repeat, and the U.S. disposed of them in the quarters. Megan Rapinoe bagging both goals in a 2-1 win in Paris. And then Rapinoe also leaving her mark in the final, while Rose Lavelle supplied the other goal. The Americans knocking off the Netherlands to seal a second straight World Cup crown. So Jill Ellis concluded that this was the perfect way to go out. She announced shortly after the World Cup that she would step down as manager, passing the baton to Vlatko Andonovski. She did stay on for the victory tour, which meant surpassing Tony DeCicco for most wins by a U.S. manager. That loss to France back in January remains the only defeat of 2019. The Americans unbeaten in 21 matches since then. So a monumental 2019. Alexi, we'll start with you. What was your biggest moment from this year?
Biggest moment. Okay, look, this is a team full of big, bold, at times arrogant, beautifully arrogant personality. It's what makes them great. What's made them successful. It's what's made them legends. Alyssa Naeher is not that type of player. She's not big, bold, brash in anything that she does. Hope Solo casts a very, very long shadow, and coming into Hope Solo's shoes and being the goalkeeper for the U.S. Women's National Team, at times it can be lonely, and you are asked to make that one save. That save she made against England on the penalty, I was so happy for her. You saw how happy her teammates were for her to have that moment. It's almost the anti-type of player in who she is as a goalkeeper and as a personality. It was a wonderful moment to be there. It's something I'll never forget.
Heather, what's your big moment from 2019 for this team?
You know, for me, there wasn't one moment. I think the entire World Cup, the U.S. made a cultural impact. I mean, they had the following of the entire country. And I think in the past, this team has been known as America's sweethearts. Very wholesome, very pure. Now they're known as America's badasses. And I think that in the U.S., right now in particular, that's a really important message for women and for young girls. So I think it was their impact to win it, and their impact the way that they won it. They're brash. They're unapologetic for their excellence.
It's the things they do off the field as well as on the field. And we want to bring Allie Wagner into this conversation. Allie, come join us. What was your biggest moment? You were at all of these games. What was the biggest takeaway for you in 2019?
It had to be the quarterfinal match against France in Paris. I mean, this was a team, I think the only team that some of the players feared. It was a team that I think caused a lot of nightmares for Jill Ellis, because when you look back at some of the results they had in January of 2017 in the She Believes Cup, Jill Ellis was experimenting with things. She went into 3-back. She put Allie Long in the center of that 3-back, and guess what happened? They got shellacked, and there were a lot of questions being asked about whether or not Jill Ellis was the right manager to take this team to the World Cup. Flash forward 2019, January. Guess what? France puts another 3 past the U.S. They go down 3-1. So as they march into Paris and they're able to exercise those demons, the crowd, the way they went up early, got the crowd silenced, and then sat back in a shell and asked questions that France really had no answers for. That will always be etched in my mind, because the night before that match, I'd never seen Jill Ellis so relaxed when we met with her. And I think all the preparation, all the wrinkles that she talked about, the tactical nuances that she was going to have in her back pocket, she had prepared the team, and now it was time to sit back and let them do the rest.
Allie, thanks. Look, there's still some soccer left to be played this year. Vlatko doesn't get an easy test in his very first game. It's Sweden and the USA. When we return, John Strong and Allie Wagner will be on the call. Should be a great one here in Columbus.
This match on FS1 is sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer.
Tonight, the Vlatko Andonovski era for the United States women gets underway from the frozen tundra of Mapfre Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. A frigid night here in one of the spiritual homes of American soccer as the fans make their way inside. Freezing temperatures, a little bit of wind, some snow in the air earlier today. Certainly not weather that will intimidate the Americans' opponents tonight. Sweden, another rematch with a perennial contender. Rematch for that matter just a few months ago at the World Cup in France, and an excited crowd here today welcoming the World Cup champions out ahead of the first game under new coach Vlatko Andonovski.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for the playing of the national anthem of Sweden. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and welcome singer-songwriter Caitlin De La Durante to perform tonight's Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Caitlin De La Durante.
One of the longest histories the United States has against any opponent. One of the most challenging opponents they've had as well. Sweden beat them in the quarterfinal of the last Olympics. Worst ever performance for the U.S. at a major tournament. In fact, the last time the U.S. lost a World Cup match that didn't end in penalties, that was to Sweden as well back in 2011. The U.S. prevailing 2-0 this summer at the end of the group stage in France. The big question tonight, what sort of an impact can Vlatko Andonovski have on this team in such a short amount of time? For that answer, we say hello to Alex Curry, who's shivering down on the field.
Tonight, this U.S. team begins a new era under Vlatko Andonovski. And when I asked Vlatko about his focus with this group, he said even though it's a short camp, it's an opportunity for him to get to know these players individually, start building relationships, and really understand their strengths and their weaknesses. But his main focus is to shift a mentality. He said the most important thing is to reset from the World Cup and now focus on qualifying for the Olympics early next year. And when I talk to a handful of these U.S. players, you can tell that they are re-energized and they are ready for this next challenge.
Katja Korolev, 31 years of age, from the United States, our referee this evening. She's been an international referee since 2016, was a fourth official at the World Cup. Was also a referee at the Under-17 World Cup last year, as well as a familiar face from NWSL. 60-year-old Peter Gerhardsson took the Sweden job a couple summers ago, taking over for Pia Sundhage, the former U.S. coach, and talking to us yesterday was excited in large part about how big the crowd would be here tonight. They sold this place out, even if it's not full. The highest attendance this year in the Swedish league, where most of these players play, was just over 3,000. So he was excited to get some of these younger, less experienced players an opportunity in a big environment tonight. It is an opportunity for some of these players to show something, Ali, to Vlatko Andonovski. Who are you excited to see?
I mean, has to be Casey Short first and foremost. I mean, this is a player that was probably one of the last ones cut, and you don't know where Vlatko Andonovski's head is in terms of where Crystal Dunn's going to play. So that position could be wide open for Casey Short to sneak and swoop up. I mean, she is the greatest 1v1 defender, we would say, that we have right now in the U.S. And then, of course, Carly Lloyd. I mean, Heather Riley touched on it, but Carly Lloyd, I have not seen her as happy as she was the other day in our meeting with her in pregame about how she could perform under Vlatko Andonovski, the freedom she feels and the way that she can check off that back line, hold up play. It's all going to be an evolution for her, but I think she feels excited that she can develop as an experienced player under Vlatko.
The U.S. team that is ready to go, a U.S. team that certainly was energized, and speaking with them yesterday about this new change as they end out an incredibly successful year against an opponent that they are used to playing at a very high level. So who can make that good first impression And who can try to leave 2019 with a good taste in their mouths? We're underway. The Vlatko Andonovski era for the United States is underway. His team wearing red tonight. It is the Swedes in yellow. For the United States, it is very much about making a good first impression on just the 9th full-time head coach in 35 years of history for this U.S. team. And a early ball trying to spring Tobin Heath forward now. She created an own goal in the World Cup off of this 1v1 matchup with this exact type of setup. It's a corner on this one as Anna Anderson was defending her there, and the U.S. an early attacking chance.
And it's a direct ball out of the back that springs Tobin Heath. If the opportunity is going to be there for the U.S. to get in behind early, they're going to take it. Tobin Heath then sizes up her defender 1v1, tries to clip this in, but can't get past that near post defender.
Anderson got a foot on her clipped ball that put it in the back of the net, made it 2-0. In France this summer, Lavelle to the near post off the corner. And it'll be cleared away for the Swedes. The headlines in Sweden coming into this one is the World Cup final that wasn't, the hope for a rematch that never was at the World Cup. They fell to the Netherlands in extra time. For that matter, it was the clash that wasn't, as Sweden made 5 changes to their lineup for the group stage match. And yet in saying that, of the 22 players on the field right now, 17 of them saw the field in France at the World Cup. The 2-0 win for the U.S. and ostensibly put them in the more difficult side of the bracket. We know how the rest of the story went. So given all that, Allie, what are you interested in looking at here in this one tonight?
I'm really curious to see how the U.S. plays out of pressure. I mean, that front 4 for Sweden is so fast, and Peter Gerhardsson is asking them to be brave, to not get pinned in their back end, and to look to press the United States and win the ball high up on the pitch. So I'm really curious to see how the U.S. manages that in their attempt to be more sophisticated in the way they build out.
Once they're knocking that away, Lavelle going to run it. Anderson there gets a foot, another U.S. corner. Just a couple hours up the road from her hometown of Cincinnati. One of 2 Americans on the field, part of FIFA's best 11. Named this fall, Heath clipping it in. And you see bits of that high pressure up the field. We saw the U.S. working on a lot at practice here last night. The U.S. play under the pressure. Sauerbrunn for Dahlkemper. The challenge there of Hurtig. A collision there. And Eriksson and Lavelle. That'll be a free kick for Sweden. One of the storylines for them right now, of course, this quick turnaround, not just to the Olympics, but for Olympic qualifying, which was announced earlier today. It'll take place down in Houston starting at the end of January. And Vlatko Andonovski told us yesterday he wasn't entirely sure at first whether he should coach this camp so quickly after his hiring, so quickly after the announcement, but he said, I didn't want my first time with this team to be competitive matches. Sweden, on the other side, they already know they're going to the Olympics. The European Olympic qualifying is based on results at the World Cup. They're in the midst of qualifying for the European Championships in the summer of 2021. Whereas the U.S. will have one more game this year coming up in Jacksonville this weekend. This is the final game of 2019 for Sweden. Kuhlberg on the ball. It's her international debut at the age of 28, playing the pass for Hanna Glas. Just trying to recover and couldn't. Into the middle now for Sikianti Olma. Kind of pressuring, but Hurtig able to get around her, and Hurtig now cutting in. Lost her footing and lost the ball. Is calling for the long switch right now for Mertz. It's Horan instead. She's able to get out of the pressure to find Short. Early ball, press. Has Lloyd in the middle. Here comes the cross. Carly Lloyd, 1-0. Took him just 5 minutes.
And not a bad start to the new era under Imnoski. Horan just spins out of pressure, and you can see how high Casey Short is. She's holding the whip. She gets in that half space, then Kristen Press running that channel on the outside. Carly Lloyd do exactly what she should do, being off that back shoulder of the other center back, slides in behind, as that is a perfectly placed ball by Kristen Press. And the easy tap in for Lloyd in the end, but she does the work of getting to the right space. And the smiles continue for that woman there, who sees potentially a rebirth under Andonovski.
119th international goal. What's so interesting about it is since she turned 30, her goals per game rate is more than double. 83 goals in the 50 games since her 30th birthday.
We just get better as we get older, right?
There's Herzig now. Saw a good recovery off the first touch.
Certainly the case for Lloyd. Press gets in behind, and Carly Lloyd just stays in that blind shoulder path. And Noski likes it.
Well, if you're splitting hairs, it took him twice as long to score against Sweden tonight as it did at the World Cup, but it is still an early goal. Player Carly Lloyd, we've all been talking about just how thrilled she seemed by all these changes. That is one of the interesting stories going forward. Listen, it is an incredibly wonderful reason. It's the best reason possible for Alex Morgan not to be a part of the team right now. She and her husband, Servando Carrasco, expecting their first child, a baby girl, in April. Congratulations to them and their entire family. So here's Carly Lloyd getting opportunity and trying to make that good first impression on Vlatko Andonovski, and talking to us a bit yesterday about some of the changes that he's expecting from her. Some of the things she's looking to do well here tonight. There's her pressure there on Kuhlberg. Sends it out for a U.S. throw. The pressure from Sweden. Press for Short from Horan. Able to play out of it. Lavelle's making a big run up the middle as Lloyd pops up out wide. Short's continuing her run forward. There's Casey Short running at Kuhlberg on her international debut. Just poked that away. Third corner for the U.S. in the early running.
And the pressure has been there from Sweden, but the U.S. did a nice job in that last attack of solving it. Players being brave on it, and Casey Short talked about two players coming in this match. Casey Short, Carly Lloyd, both of them incredibly active already in the ongoings.
The heat to take it this time for the far flag. We're back to defend for Sweden. Again, a header on frame. That was from Lloyd, and comfortable save in the end for Hedvig Lindahl in her 169th international appearance.
Carly Lloyd is a big target for the U.S. You can't leave her this open. Free header in the end. Unlike Sweden on set plays.
As the U.S. women are in action now, the men will be in action starting next week to get the game with Canada. We'll have the game with Cuba on Tuesday, November the 19th. The match played down in the Cayman Islands as Cuba Stadium in Havana not fit for purposes of this match. Coverage beginning at 7 Eastern here at FS1. You can stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Switch there, really well brought down by Tobin Heath, who's now on the left. Kristen Press has come to the right. Heath gliding past one defender. And takes the bump from the second. Didn't get the foul that she or the fans wanted. Sonnet able to stop any sort of counterattack, though. Glass to the right back, trying to get across in and does. Stabbed away by Sauerbrunn. Held in though. Sugiata Oma getting an attempt away. That's a Caldwell first involvement tonight for Alyssa Naeher. FS1's coverage tonight sponsored by AT&T. Saves officially in the shutout victory for the U.S. over Sweden in the World Cup group stage. It's for Horan. She's got a couple different options to choose from. It's too far for Lloyd, Kuhlberg, and Lindahl able to clean that up. Fifth different coach that Carly Lloyd has scored a goal for in her international career.
Not bad.
How many of the other four can you figure out here?
All right, Pia Sundhage, Greg Ryan, April Heinrichs, Plaka, and Gilles.
There you go.
I just had to go back chronologically. It wasn't that challenging.
Talk from both sides about the things they want to do differently tonight. What do you pick it up on here after 11 minutes or so?
I mean, you're seeing it right there in the shape, the 4-1-4-1 defensive mid-block from the U.S.
Sofia Jakobsen now trying to run it short. Jakobsen got a cross away. Sauerbrunn there intercept. Trying to clear. It's a run there for Aslani. She's going to get there. Her ball into the middle. Dangerous attempt. That was Sonnet there with a big tackle right in front as Hurtig. Thought she was going to have a tap in. Janowski up off his seat for that, trying to direct traffic as press carries forward. She's got Sonnet to her outside. It's not going to reach her though as Anderson gets it away. For Horan. That's going to be out past everyone.
Well, here's a look at what Sweden just tried to do against the U.S. And Tobin Heath trying to play out of pressure. It's too tight. The giveaway occurs. And then Aslani's got two runners in the box. Opts for the second one as this one glides along the 6-yard box. But Sonnet there with the necessary intervention.
She played just 8 minutes at the World Cup. Started 4 of the last 5 for the U.S. this fall as O'Hara and Allie Krieger, among others, available right now. So she's certainly taking advantage of her opportunity, the Portland Thorns player. Here comes Sweden again. Jakobsen going to return it for Blackstenius. Took the touch on short. She'll get a cross in. That's popped up in the air. And Naeher's able to get there in the end. Again, it was Lena Hurtig with an opportunity. Sweden starting to knock on the door for a tying goal.
And they have a lot of pace up top, and they're getting in behind. And that's one area that Sweden thought that they could take advantage of the U.S. Press them and use their pace to get at their backs.
I think Kosovare Aslani hesitated when you asked her yesterday, what's an area you think you could exploit? She said, our speed versus the U.S. defenders. Skipping past Lavelle. Clever bit of skill there where she tracks it down. The Swedish players we talked to yesterday were excited about this. It's a great way to end their year. Was it Magdalena Eriksson told us? Aslani said it was an opportunity for some of these younger, newer players to really step up to a high level, see how they do.
And a lot of talk, and hopefully we'll get to see her, about Benison, the young 17-year-old from Sweden. A lot of expectations falling on that girl's shoulders. What she can potentially accomplish for this team.
All 3 players we talked to yesterday wanted to see her get on the field. We're excited to see her get the opportunity because you're seeing less 17-year-olds breaking in at that age to the international level than they once did.
Such a good point. No more Heather O'Reillys for the U.S. Maybe Mallory Pugh.
There's Jakobsen again. They're working on Casey Short a lot up that right side for Sweden. And that's going to be out for a goal kick in the end.
And look, that's the strong side for the Swedish team. They like to push on Hanna Glas on that outside. Jakobsen will tuck in. This is the last attack with Jakobsen playing provider to get that ball in behind Casey Short. It's Blackstenius who serves the ball in. But again, 2 runners are getting in the box for Sweden.
Shorter went almost a year without appearances for the United States until the late August game against Portugal. She's playing in the 4th of the last 5 games for the U.S. this fall. Helping the Chicago Red Stars to that appearance in the NWSL final this year. And Lavelle with the skill to get out of traffic. Build-up. That's what we heard a bit about from Vlatko Andonovski yesterday and some of his players. Didn't end up in a chance on that one, though.
No, but you're exactly right, John. I mean, some of those decisions that players made, I don't think they would have made previously. They would have opted to go vertical quicker. And with Carly Lloyd, as she talked about the timing and the freedom to check out of that pocket as the 9 and be a bounce player. See if that continues to be a theme tonight.
With the good work to find the space. Now Horan didn't have an option upfield. Really couldn't quite find the angle there for either Lavelle or Horan, intercepted by Anderson. On it there, just dragging Hertig down, knowing she was beat. And just a talking to from Katja Koroleva, the referee.
And this is the tendency of Hertig. She likes to cut in to the inside. That one touch takes her by Sonnet.
Well, Peter Gerhardsson, the Sweden coach, was immediately up, barking at the 4th official that he wanted a yellow card for that one there.
Professional foul should be a yellow.
Is that one of those things, if it's a competitive match, it's a yellow card? When it's a friendly, you're less likely to see it?
You know, I gave up trying to judge the referees, all right?
Christina Uncle texting me right now. Don't worry about it.
I know, they work hard, Christina. Look, there's space outside Julier. It's in this 4-1-4-1 set, and you're seeing one of the other mids for Sweden creep up in there when they have their 2 low. One of them is releasing, getting alongside Aslani. They're just not able to find it right now. I think the channels are tight for the U.S. It's making that entry pass difficult.
Aslani, they're good recovery there on the pass, which was behind her. Couldn't connect, though, with Blackstenius. Given right back, though, to Sweden. Aslani on the turn. Jakobsen will pick it out wide. She's got the overlap from Glass now. Short try to recover. And able to recover the good tackle. It's going to be out for a corner.
But it's that combination on that far side between Jakobsen and Glass again. Proving challenge for Casey Short. The timing of the overlap was spot on.
Anderson, who plays in England for Chelsea. Only start of the World Cup for her was against the U.S. It was her redirection. An own goal for the second goal. Mayer getting herself set. Anderson's in swinger. Really no one there in yellow at the back post. Anderson a chance. The flag will come up though for offside. Alex, what do you hear down there on the U.S. bench?
Well, Vlatko has been on his feet this whole match talking to his team, telling them to press, drop back, have the back line make the runs. But he's also been very vocal with Sauerbrunn and Sonnet to get open, hold the ball, press, and then once again, get back open.
And listen, we talked about this some yesterday. He's inheriting an incredible situation, but it's all, how much coaching do you do? Do you have to a certain extent, just sort of sit back and watch and evaluate, or do you need to assert your personality in your first game?
You know, I thought that was the interesting part of our meeting with him, was how much he was already tactically working on. you'd think you'd come in and, like you said, just kind of cruise into the situation and get your bearings. But he came in and immediately knew there were areas that this team could improve upon and needed to improve upon to stay ahead of the game, really.
Sweden able to get through that press. Aslani. Horan for company. And he'll be in behind for second corner in quick succession for Sweden. Aslani, who Alexi was talking about, she and Jakobsen playing for the team now known as Takkonen Sweden. Next year is going to be Real Madrid, as they have decided to dip their toe into the women's game. In swinger now. Came off the back of Hertzing. Bouncing out. The U.S. got it clear. Tribute to our nation's veterans, a part of the fabric of who we are here at Fox Sports. We're proud to partner with the Mission Continues, a nonprofit organization deploying military veterans to build strong communities across the nation. You can visit missioncontinues.org to learn more. Here as we approach Veterans Day. Silver on the run. Lavelle in a pocket of space. She's got Heath out wide as well. And Lavelle just takes the bump there from Lena Hertzing.
Lavelle has that pull-away speed, but you got to go back and credit Becky Sauerbrunn. She steps up, drives forward, and then plays a penetrative pass. That's one thing that Vlatko wants to see out of her, is playing forward, and she finds a key playmaker in Lavelle.
It was going to be Heath standing over it, and then Dahlkemper talked her out of it. Going back to defend for Sweden. Oh, trying to do something with that as she was backpedaling, short throwing her body in, and that will be a whistle and a foul. Casey Short, one of a handful of players that Vlatko Andonovski told us yesterday are going to be limited minutes-wise, aware of the very long season, particularly for players that were involved in that NWSL final. So he's got a couple of planned substitutions in mind just to make sure he's managing the load on some of these players at the end of this year. Lavelle and Heath and Ertz among the others he mentioned to us yesterday in that regard. A good first touch there. Couldn't find the pass though for Aslani. Bjorn, who was the right back for Sweden at the World Cup against the U.S., playing in the center of the park today. Drifted that pass too far. For Alyssa Naeher, the defining moment, as Alexi talked about in the pregame, the penalty save against England. We were watching that one in Nashville with the American Outlaws, and the explosion of noise just in that room. What that save meant. Clipped over the top for Horan, not going to find her. It's knocked away by Kuhlberg.
We've seen it a couple times now with the attack mids when Carly Lloyd checks, because that's going to be more of her strong suit as the 9. You're seeing those runs in behind by Lindsey Horan, by Rose Lavelle.
Now, they worked a lot of that in practice yesterday, playing out between the two center backs and sort of building from there. Lavelle skipping away from Sugiata Oma. And we'll come back to the near side for Sonnet. There's Tobin Heath. She'll clip it in. Lloyd was being held there. She fell. Sonnet back for Heath. Now in for Press, who made the run, cut back cross, and around there was taking a bump there, couldn't do anything with it.
But it's really good patience by the U.S. It was 3v3 for a very long time until Christen Press comes over and overloads the zone with this run in behind her defender. The space is there. It's well weighted. But the cross behind Haran.
Scored the opening goal in the World Cup game against Sweden. Off a corner, Heath there stepping in to take it away from Aslani, who then chops her down. Told us yesterday there really has been a great energy last couple days, but she said you're going to have that any time you have a change in your work environment. He telling us it's really what happens down the road. She was excited for this matchup. She told us yesterday, opponent like Sweden will wake you up early. You're not just going to show up and play and be able to get away from it. Great way to sort of begin this era, she felt.
Yeah, they're in the honeymoon phase, but the energy was palpable. Right? And you see it tonight, the way they started this match. It has a very different feel than the Victory Tour games we experienced after the World Cup. Although it's the end of the year, it feels like the beginning.
Take extra footing there. She cut inside off that ball. He's wanting to run with this one. It's there sliding in front of Aslani. Just to prevent the quick break. Jakobsen nowhere to go with that one. Listen, you have a way better baseline than I do. I've been around this team for about 3 years, but it was obvious yesterday. And so I guess the question is, how do you, if you're Vlatko Andonovski, keep that going? Is that just wins? Or is there anything else you can do to make sure you keep the positivity going long term?
It's relationships.
Here's Hertig quickly going to clip that in behind Sauerbrunn. Got just enough of a touch and short to clear it.
Yes, you could say this is relative to a women's team, but I think as a female player, as a woman player, the relationship you have with your manager is what keeps things fresh. It keeps you driving forward. And with Andonovski, he always seems to change things. And whether that's with the system, with the team, individually, he's going to challenge these players. And that's all these players want, is to be hungry for more, to learn more, and to continue to evolve. Otherwise, it gets stale.
We've heard that from players, including Heather O'Reilly, who's with us, who's played for his club teams, FC Kansas City and Reign FC, about the relationships he builds. It's going to be a chance now for Press on the ball from Lloyd. She's got Lavelle across the middle. Press cutting it back herself, and it's in for a goal. 50th international goal for Christen Press. The 12th American to reach that milestone.
This goal is so good, and it starts with the defensive setup. They're in their 4-1-4-1. Tobin Heath pinches back in and wins the ball that they're trying to play to one of their attacking mids, and then the break is on, and Christen Press is adios to two defenders and finds the back of the net herself. But the system, the way this U.S. team is setting up defensively, Sweden is not figuring out how to break it down, and then the U.S., we know how good they are on the counter. Christen Press makes a meal of this one. Goes to her left, gets the little touch off Lindahl, but it still tucks its way into the back net. So good. And I think Sweden was not anticipating coming out facing one player pressing them, and that's in Carly Lloyd, and having four players sit in that midfield line with Erd shepherding in front of the backs.
It has been a big year for Christen Press. She and Dahlkemper, the only two to have played in every game this year for the U.S. He reaches the 50-goal milestone earlier in this game. Her team-high 11th assist of the year. And the U.S. now in a comfortable position, just shy of a half hour.
And really controlling things. I mean, the space is there outside Julie Ertz. Sweden just cannot find that entry pass into those two players. It's all very predictable and labored.
It's on the ball for Heath. Haran has Son advancing up the right. She was drifting offside, so Haran didn't play the pass. So far, so good. The opening half hour of the Vlatko Andonovski era for the United States. And there might be a third coming as Lloyd gets on the end of the clipped header. Oh, what a goal that is. What a finish by Carli Lloyd. 3-0 United States.
Just making it look easy. Tobin Heath takes a beating on this one. That one goes over the top. And then Carli Lloyd, so aware. She knows Lindahl's off her line. Right there, just sniffing in behind the center back. Takes a really good touch, even though she's fading away from goal.
Goal scored by number 10.
Clips it up and over Lindahl. And that's something.
2 goals and an assist in 31 minutes tonight for Carli Lloyd, who you told us before kickoff was a player that could stand to make a strong first impression. Safe to say she's done so.
It's only taken 30 minutes.
Jacobson running the other way here. Short able to recover. Turn her around. Let's see how Sweden recovers from this. They were excited for this game. They seem confident, even aware of the fact of some of the younger, newer players they were trying to bring in. Jacobson getting the cross away. Dutch genius couldn't do anything with it. The best chance to score early on off a cross was stabbed away by Emily Sonnet just in front of Herzig. On the end of that switch, but Ertz picks it back up. Toma Aslani intercepted by Sauerbrunn. You could feel the pace quickening up a bit now after sort of a slower beginning to the game. I mean, given all that, I mean, this is Sweden. This isn't some scrub team. Are you surprised at 3-0 in 32 minutes?
Yes, I am. But I think when you come in as invigorated as these players were, and on a cool and crisp night like tonight, and you know that you're winding down the year, you're energized, and you're seeing it in this U.S. team. And when they're on point and sharp and crisp, we know what they can produce. Having said that, I do think that this system and the way that the U.S. is setting up defensively, it's causing problems for Sweden. This is a team that likes to play on the break. This is a team that likes open space, and the U.S. is not giving them that in this mid-block.
Looks for press, now a second chance at that one. Does well to spin away from the defender. Trying to measure that pass in for Lloyd. Had intercepted. Kluberg making the play. So if you're Sweden, how do you adjust here and stop the bleeding?
Is it a matter of stopping the bleeding, or is it a matter of how do we prepare ourselves for the Euros and for the Olympics? You know, I think with this group, it's going to be about trying to push on and get their team to a tactical place that Peter wants to see out of them. That's playing positively. That's on interceptions, playing forward and not always playing sideways and backwards. That's pressing high up in the field. I think they're going to want to work on those things as opposed to being concerned with the scoreline at this point.
Aslani now, and Herzig running off. We're going to try to find the angle for the pass. Dahlkemper there to intercept. And there, had to react quick to get rid of it. Sweden have won each of their first 3 qualifiers for the European Championship. So got a block to that cross, as have Iceland. They'll play Iceland next year, right at the end of the qualifying process. Championships in the summer of 2021. So trying to find someone to throw it into. In the end, Herzig just miscontrols it out.
And here's some of the nasty from Carli Lloyd. Just sneaking in front of her center back and then chipping that one over Lindahl, who's way off her line, thinking that ball's going to be played first time in behind.
2 goals and an assist tonight for Carli Lloyd, up to 120 international goals her career. See what Sauerbrunn does here, just getting rid of that one under some pressure.
The square ball across the top of the 18. I don't know if that's what we're talking about in building out, but they didn't get punished.
Ruberg for Jakobsen. And it breaks down there as the pass was behind Glass, making the run forward. Peter Gerhardsson, the Swedish coach, talked to us about yesterday. We want to be aggressive defensively. We want to be brave with the ball. Heard from some of his players, less of the defending counter mindset, but it's not what he would have been hoping for so far. Lonnie steps in and gets caught there by Horan.
And to be fair, Sweden doesn't have their full complement of players.
It's going to get a yellow card for that, looks like. At some point.
Well, here's the challenge by Horan. No ball. And swipes into the ankle of Asllani.
Free kick taken too quickly to Koroleva's liking. You mentioned Niels Fischer, part of the FIFA Best 11 center back. She's one of 3 center backs. In fact, Sweden are without tonight. We had heard from some of the Swedish journalists yesterday. Asllani was a bit banged up coming into the game. They weren't sure if she was going to go tonight. She definitely felt that tackle from Horan. As you mentioned earlier, temperature right around freezing and dropping. Not as much wind as we were expecting this evening, which is a good thing. Asllani now sending it in, short, sending it away. Comes to nothing in the end for Sweden. She's still not moving 100% there. Asllani after taking that tackle. Well, what's this guy thinking right now?
Thank you.
They're trying to battle her way through. She's able to come out of that with the ball. Just building quietly, methodically up the middle here, through the middle. Will be short on the outside. Moran has press outside of her. Short now drifting inside. Lloyd making the run, sending out a hat trick now, but alert to that was Lindahl to get there in time. Big Lindahl, the age of 36, coming off her 4th World Cup. We asked her yesterday, how much longer do you think you're able to keep playing? She said, well, how long does my body keep hurting in the morning? And how much is it hurting each morning as I'm getting up? She certainly was talking to us yesterday about how the Swedish team exceeded the outside expectation in the World Cup semifinal. She said, we didn't exceed our internal expectation. We want to win this thing. And so they're excited about the Olympics coming up next year, what they can do there. That's a foul in the middle.
Just the fact that they haven't won a world championship, and that expectation, she said Pia Sundhage was the one who told us and taught us that we can beat anyone on any given day, including the U.S. And now Peter's the one that's changing their tactics.
Ruberg, bad giveaway to Kristen Press. Lloyd to her right. Lavelle's the trailer. Press wanting this one herself. Comfortable save for Lindahl. Stewart able to guide that for Horan.
And we're seeing a lot of that from the U.S. When they're pinned in the flanks, those players are spinning out and they're trying to change it.
Herzig running the other way. Blackstenius in front of her, gonna get it now. Sauerbrunn trying to close the angle. Clipped into the middle, no one there though, except for Alyssa Nair. She'll go quick. Some space here for Lavelle to operate in. And Sonnet up to her right. Press making a run to her left. Lavelle drew 3 defenders around him before getting rid of it to Sonnet. And Heath will drive that out. You could see the minute that ball was coming back to her, she was shaping herself up to send that thing into someone.
It was either going to be a beauty or that.
Another bad giveaway by Sweden. Press picking it up. Lavelle wants it. Horan to her left instead. Cut off there. It's good recovery by Gloss in the end. And Horan a bit slow to get up behind the plate. Slotty kept that ball in play. Couldn't find a teammate though. AT&T halftime report. Sarah, Alexi, and Heather will return to the field from whatever warm shelter they found during the first half and give us their thoughts on what we've seen so far, as Ertz a bit slow to get up after taking that foul. All that and more on our halftime, sponsored by AT&T. So we were told her husband Zach was going to be here at the game tonight. To fix that headband at halftime. As Horan picks it up. The final few minutes of the first half has gone just about perfectly for the United States in the first game under Vlatko Andonovski. Goal 6 minutes in. 2 more that follow in pretty quick succession around the half-hour mark. Lloyd with 2 of them, including a phenomenal chip over Hedvig Lindahl, and she wins that free kick. As we said, as ever in these friendlies, you're expecting substitutions, but particularly the number of players who are coming off a very long year.
And it's just a good opportunity to see players for Vlatko, especially against a quality opponent.
Heath standing over it. At the end of the traffic, and the header for Horan is right to Lindahl, her 3rd save of this half. Trying to go quick for Blackstenius, and Paul Kemper was there to make easy work of it. Ertz again takes a hard bump there, and they're going to call the trainers out immediately. It was Julia Zigiotu-Olma. He's going to get a yellow card for it.
Well, it's on the putback ball that Julie Ertz has no idea Zigiotu-Olma is right behind her and going to collapse right there.
And a hush over Montfort Stadium as Julie Ertz is down. And you see Kosovaria Asllani wearing the armband, trying to rally the troops for Sweden right now. Ertz is being helped to her feet. That's a good sign. Here, the other American on the field, along with Lavelle, named to FIFA's best 11 this year. No way, she's going to come right back out, Julie Ertz.
Of course.
Player with the unique distinction of having played in 2 World Cup finals in 2 different positions with 2 different last names. We'll see how much time is added here at the end. I mean, listen, if you're Vlatko Andonovski, could this have gone any better as Lavelle couldn't find the target there. Is there anything you'd be wanting to see better or different from how this first half has gone?
You know, I think in the way they're building, it's been patient, but I think there have been some poor decisions out of the back, but that's to be expected. Ultimately, no. I mean, you're getting the press when you want it. You're getting the 9 play by Carly Lloyd bouncing off that back line, and then the players are not forcing it down in these wide areas. I think there's been really good patience in their build, and you've pointed that out a few times, John. And then, of course, the goals. You got to win.
Final 30 seconds here on the watch of referee Katya Koroleva. The ball did just come out for a throw. Slotting off the throw. Ertz running with her. Slotting bouncing off the one tackle. Got it in for Brasinius. It's behind Hertig, though. Bridge down for Sweden. With their head up, just didn't have any options upfield. That should just about be the end of the half. We'll see, though, as he pokes it away from Sonnet. A halftime whistle. So far, so good for the beginning of the Vlatko Andonovski era. Carly Lloyd, 2 goals and 1 assist. Christen Press scoring the other goal. And it is 3-0 for the United States at the break. Here against the number 5 team in FIFA's World Rankings, Sweden. Let's hear from Carly Lloyd. She's live on the field right now with Alex Curry.
Carly, you guys are up by 3 at half against a tough opponent in Sweden. What has this team done well so far tonight?
You know, I think we're really fluid. We're moving for each other. Midfield's doing a great job keeping the ball. Backline's doing a great job of feeding kind of those balls in between the lines. And yeah, us up top, we're trying to be dangerous. And I think overall we're definitely implementing some of the philosophy that Vlatko is wanting. And you know, it's little by little we're going to keep getting better.
Thank you, Carly.
Thank you.
2 goals tonight, 120 for her career, and this one was an absolute gem. Sarah, Lexi, and Heather on the other side. 45 minutes down, 45 to go here in Columbus. United States 3, Sweden 0.
Allstate, you're in good hands. And then I'm going to do the second one.
Yep.
This halftime show is sponsored by AT&T, and we say welcome back into Mapfre Stadium here in Columbus. Alexi Lawless, Heather O'Reilly, Sarah Walsh with you on a frigid night, but the Americans have been on fire. Let's take a look at these highlights and how this unfolded. And it didn't take very long for the Americans to get on board.
Look, Carly Lloyd is on fire. She is loving it. We said she has a big smile right now, and why shouldn't she? She is getting fed. Wonderful ball. Casey Shaw wins the ball off the press into the middle right there. Thank you very much. Feeling it. There's that smile. See, look. She smells an opportunity. She senses something, and she is a goal scorer, and she will put herself in position to score as she did. Yes! New coach loving it.
He's making it look easy, and the scoring would continue. 28th minute. Again, the Americans back at it. That's Tobin feeding the ball up again, this time to Christen Press.
Absolute dream start for the USA. And here you have Christen Press in an individual effort. Well done. Takes it on her left. For a Swedish team that considers themselves a real contender for this Olympics, you can't get beat like that in your 18.
They came out with intensity. They came out with energy. And none more so than Carly Lloyd.
You know what you need more of in your life? Carly Lloyd. Give me some more Carly Lloyd. All right. Beat you? No, I'm not going to beat you. I'm just going to turn, and I'm going to chip this. Look at this wonderful little turn here. And the touch. Oh, it's beautiful. In the back of the net. There's that smile again.
So the U.S. goes into the break with a 3-zip lead. Vlatko could not have scripted this any better, Heather.
I think he must be thrilled. I think that the team is doing what he would want. They're winning the ball high up the pitch. They're getting Rose Lavelle and Lindsey Horan really involved in setting the play, and they're finishing their chances. I think that he has to be obviously relieved the way that his first game has gone, but really excited for his future.
Look, he was, as we said, given the keys to this Ferrari. Evidently, it doesn't matter who's driving it. This thing is going to drive. Now, that's not quite fair, because I think for his first game, this is important. Do they look like a completely different team? No. But ultimately, this is a team that wins. This is a team that's scoring. This is a team that's creating chances. This is a team that looks like it's having fun. So far, so good. Still early days.
We talked so much in the pregame about Carly Lloyd being re-energized. When we just saw her run into the tunnel, no one had a bigger smile on their face. And can you blame her? A couple of goals and assists already. We will be back here right after the break to get you set. Bundle up. It's going to be a great second half from Columbus. Well, the U.S. women have delivered tonight. The men know they're going to have to later this month. Greg Berhalter's side involved in the CONCACAF Nations League. They're going to host Canada on November 15th, followed by a clash with Cuba 4 days later. The Cuba match, which takes place in the Cayman Islands, will be live on FS1.
Big game against Canada. Yes, we've come to the point for the U.S. men's national team where a home game against Canada is being viewed as a referendum on the team and the coach. But Greg Berhalter put all his chips in on this Canada game. Anything less than a win will not suffice. It'll be very, very interesting to see what happens.
All eyes on the U.S. men against Canada. That's coming up on November 15th. But for tonight, all eyes have been on Carly Lloyd and that man right there, Vlatko Andonovski. His first game as the new coach of this team. And, man, they're looking good so far. John Strong, Allie Wagner, back after this.
Half this one's coverage tonight here in Columbus, sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer. 3-0 for the United States over Sweden at the break in the first game of the Vlatko Andonovski era. And the first two subs of the Vlatko Andonovski era, Andy Sullivan is replacing Julie Ertz. Again, that was something that was planned coming into this game. Sullivan just last month played her first game this year for the U.S. and a big return for Lynn Williams, part of the title-winning North Carolina Courage at NWSL. It's her first appearance for her country in a year and a half. March of 2018, the She Believes Cup, the last time 26-year-old from Fresno saw the field for the U.S. New coach, new era, huge opportunity for all these players, Allie, to show Vlatko Andonovski what they can do.
Yeah, and also a reward for their performance in the NWSL season. I mean, Andy Sullivan had a great season, and Lynn Williams made this roster over McDonald.
Second half underway. 3 goals in that first half for the United States. 2 of them from Carly Lloyd, another from Kristen Press. She was the other player subbed off here at the break. We'll see how the U.S. can finish out this second half from a commanding position. No changes so far for Sweden tonight. Sonnet trying to catch up to that ball. Really a touch out wide. Williams was blocked off there by Lana Anderson as she was trying to get involved for the first time tonight. And so what do you want to see from these players here in the second half? Just come on.
From the U.S.? John, from the U.S. Specifically, you know, I think, of course, more of the same, but I think more patience will benefit them. They're trying to work their way into methodical build-up, so the more they default into that and being comfortable playing out of pressure, the better this team is going to get over the long haul. But I think you stay the course right now.
It's Jakobsen now, cutting inside of short, is trying to recover. And the angle, Blackstenius flag's going to come up here for offside. She drifted in behind.
And from Sweden, I want to see some changes. I want to see Bennison get in the match. I like Kulashi.
Well, let's go down to Alex. What did Vlatko Andonovski have to say coming out for the second half?
Well, Vlatko said in the first half they did a good job controlling Sweden when they were on defense, but they have to be more aggressive in the middle block. He felt like they were sitting in the middle for too long, and with their energy, they could be doing more and they could be more aggressive.
There's again cut off on the long switch. Andy Sullivan there. Mariona Anderson. And I guess one of the big questions, we were debating this a lot yesterday. Do you just go with Vlatko? Do you just say the first name all the time? Has it become one of those things?
When it's this cold out, I'm going Vlatko. I cannot say Andonovski.
As he said to us yesterday when asked, you know, how do you make this your team, Vlatko's team? Because if we win, it'll be Vlatko's team. If we lose, I don't know. But Williams again.
So far, it's his.
Big duel on the outside there with Anderson. Thought she had it taken away. The last coach to lose their first game in charge of the U.S. team was actually April Heinrichs back in 2000. There's been a good, consistent series of results. Jill Ellis, of course, had 3 first games, including her 2 interim stints. The ball slid in there for Glasgow, sliding over by Sauerbrunn there. It's going to be out for a Sweden corner. He did bring 1 staff member with him, Milan Ivanovic, a teammate of his in the Indoor Soccer League MISL. Andonovski at one time was the league's Defender of the Year with the Kansas City Comets, and he spent those 2 coaching together in their time at NWSL. Anderson, the left back, will swing in this corner to the traffic. Sauerbrunn is up for it. We'll do it again.
And that's a good ball. That's where Sweden wants to drop it in. They usually crowd the 6 and aim for that near post. Get a lot of traffic in front of Nair.
Again, trying to put it right on top of her there. Oh, that was the ball. That was Nair rattling the frame of the goal there as she went up to knock that away. Anderson going for an Olympico goal. She'll clip in another dangerous cross towards Blackstenius, popped in the air, and Nair's going to come collect. Nair looking to go quick now for Williams. Sullivan trying to switch it out for Heath and couldn't get it all the way out there.
Good idea, though, by Sullivan.
But again, challenging Blackstenius in the air. Sullivan will pick up the loose ball. Through to get a touch to that one. Short trying to close on Sikiati Olma. Getting a touch there in front of Haran. Sullivan trying to recover. She got a tangle there with Haslani. It's going to be a free kick for the U.S. that Dahlkemper takes quickly. Lavelle, Lloyd wants it through. Still Lavelle driving her way around. That's the second Swedish defender. Now looking to cut it in. On the turn, Haran lost her footing and put it right at Lindahl in the end. Fourth save for her tonight.
Haran gets a shot off, but how good is Lavelle and how she glides through the lines. She is one of the players that Vlatko wants to get on the ball more often than not. And look, I don't know that happened in the Ellis era. I don't know they targeted certain players to have more touches than others, and I think Lavelle is someone that Vlatko's going to look to highlight in this system.
We heard that from the players we talked to yesterday. They've really felt that from Andonovski so far. The relationship with the midfielders, so much emphasis on that, playing through the midfielders. Williams couldn't get on the end of that pass from Lloyd.
And just their angles off of each other. You watch how they're moving off of one another. And sometimes you're finding Lavelle on the same side as Haran. He wants them in close proximity to one another.
Checking the video clips on the tablet there. Through Williams, got inside. Lloyd rather the cross. Took a redirection in behind. Sullivan. Letting that fly. It's a blind in the end. It really is a fascinating journey this man has taken. 43 years of age, Vlatko Andonovski, born in what was then Yugoslavia, what we now call North Macedonia. Played in the Macedonian League professionally for a time, came to the U.S. in 2000, and was playing professional indoor soccer. Had his best spells with the Kansas City Comets before becoming a coach in the first year of NWSL in Kansas City, and then with Reign FC the last couple of years. Lavelle again driving on, again cutting back, again looking for space, lost her angle now. And we'll win a corner out of it in the end.
And that's one of the reasons she plays on the right side of that midfield. It's so she can cut in on her left. This one just takes her too far outside the frame of the goal, and she has a really difficult angle, but still wins her team a corner kick.
The Heat to take. Look at near post and nothing there.
How do you send a near post without Ertz on the pitch? You just can't.
One of those amazing things you know is coming, and yet no one in the world seems to be able to stop it.
You can't. It was like the early goal for the U.S. in the World Cup.
Short there, crowded off it by Ziggy Atolma. Here comes the press from the U.S. Hoop was involved. Horan trying to get away from the traffic, couldn't quite do so. Out for a Sweden throw. We asked him about, the pressure, the responsibility of being the coach of the United States, Andonovski. He said, I understand every game, everyone expects you to win, and they expect you to win in a certain style. And he said, I know that. I knew that when I was taking this job. Good work on the outside there. And Williams, it breaks down as the cross took a redirection away from Lloyd. He said, I wouldn't have taken this job if I didn't think that I could do that. Interception there on the far side by Sonic. And we've heard from former players just how personable he is, the personal relationships you talked about in the first half that he builds, his attention to detail. We saw that yesterday in practice, stopping practice, talking with Rose Lavelle about very minute things, how she's turning on a particular shoulder, how many touches.
2 steps this way. We heard that from multiple players. Take 2 steps this way, and how that changes everything. And a lot of it was just connection defensively between the midfielders.
As ever, how do you translate the things you might do as a club coach to the international game? Let's take a look back at this from Williams.
Football is football, and if you can dice someone up on the end like Lynn Williams does there, you can talk tactics all you want. When you've got that 1v1 mentality and ability, the U.S. always has something special to throw at you.
Fresno native who's been a star now for North Carolina Courage, winning multiple trophies with them. It's clipped over the top, flag staying down. Lavelle surveying her options from a narrow angle. She went for it herself, and Lindahl got a right paw on it to keep her out.
And why not by Lavelle? She's had a lot of touches in the early goings of this second half. Lloyd has checked off that back line. Lavelle gets running in behind, and now she's got space to get her head up.
Once again, still looking a bit deeper in there. It was only as far as Dahlkemper was knocked down. It's not trying to begin the break. And Sonic's there to cut it off. Andonovski talked about transferring to the international game the things that he does as a club coach. He said, I get it. You don't have a full 25 games and a full season and working with players every day, but he said, I've kept on some of the staff that Jill Ellis had deliberately for that purpose. I'm familiar with these players. Talked about games he would coach in NWSL where he said, boy, I wish I had her on my team. He says, now I have all of them on my team.
And now it's going to be about managing all of them. That's one of the biggest challenges of this U.S. team. And it's the honeymoon phase right now. But as you get closer to that Olympics, assuming they qualify, that's when it's going to get more difficult.
2 teams out of 8 will qualify from CONCACAF, and that tournament will begin at the end of January. Works down there off the foot of Haslani. Heath, whether she got a touchdown or not, it finds Lloyd. Williams on the far side. Hasn't scored a goal for the U.S. since 2017. She's going to wait for this cross-field switch. Williams crossing the deck. Heath saved again by Lindahl. 6th stop of the night for her.
An incredible work from Tobin Heath. She's the one who initiates this play and then springs into the attack to get just on the outside of the 6 and end this action that Lynn Williams began.
Heath with the assist on Lloyd's 2nd goal tonight. Williams able to clip a cross in, just too far for Horan, who got turned around there by Jakobsen. Pressure there by the U.S. forces the giveaway. Heath picks it up. 1-2 there with their Portland Thorns teammate Lindsey Horan. Sullivan picks it up. She'll play for Sonnet. Lavelle opening up on the far side. The return, Sonnet on the run. Flipping across into the middle and played in behind there. Magdalena Eriksson playing safe in front of Lindahl, out for a U.S. corner, 5th of the night. Innovation on the far side. That's the Nordecke. That's the supporter section for Columbus Crew games here at Mafra Stadium. This ball is swung in and handed away by Kuhlberg. Langston is working hard there to keep it. Aslani running with her. Come to the near side for Sophia Jakobsen, working on Casey Short. Jakobsen, Short goes to ground. Able to cut it back for Glass, who couldn't control it cleanly. She tried to stop the attack with a foul. And no advantage play there by the referee.
And guess who's there again? It's Tobin Heath. Her work rate has been fantastic tonight. But this is the one with Casey Short going against Jakobsen, and there's Tobin Heath defending in her own 18-yard box, winning that ball, and trying to send the U.S. on the break.
Approach the hour mark. Mallory Pugh is preparing to come on as the 3rd sub of the night for the U.S. There's another one that Andonovski talked to us about yesterday, trying to cobble together 90 minutes between Pugh and Heath. End of the long season, great first touch by Tobin Heath. She's not going to let Carly Lloyd pick that ball back up. Williams making a run. It was meant for her. It was blocked by Bjorn. Still a chance for the U.S. in this possession. Here's Carly Lloyd. 2 goals already and an assist. And will clip it in, stabbed away by Eriksson. And it will be Tobin Heath coming off for Pugh at the next opportunity. An hour gone here in Columbus. Vlatko Andonovski's first game in charge of the United States. They built a 3-0 lead in the first half hour of this one. Lavelle accelerating past Bjorn. Rose Lavelle, comfortable save. Number 7 tonight by Hedvig Lindahl. There's a relentlessness from the U.S. right now that Lindahl, playing out quick, gave the ball back away.
And they've got Sweden pinned in. But here's the lovely touch by Tobin Heath. Right around Glass. Then Carly Lloyd continues her run wide.
East Knott has done at an assist on the USA's 3rd goal tonight.
Making their 3rd change. USA substitution. Leaving the game, number 17, Joey.
Now Pugh. Another player that is looking to make a good first impression after not seeing the field in the knockout round at the World Cup. Great ovation for the Cincinnati native Rose Lavelle, who would come off to be replaced by Sam Mewis.
Making their 4th change. USA substitution. Leaving the game, number 16, Rose Lavelle.
Really positive performances from both Heath and Lavelle.
We will see a debut for the 17-year-old Hanna Bennison of Sweden. She is ready to come on. As the U.S. off the free kick will work at one here for Pugh, her first touch of the night. Good throw short. Second attempt to get a cross in. They'll be out for a corner. Sweden, 2 substitutions in the wings right now. We're taken short. Here back for Sauerbrunn. To the far side for Sonnet. She'll try to get herself back onside and did so. And another corner all the way. So Sweden will hold on to these subs while they're defending the set pieces. Aslani and Sinyata Olma, who will be coming off here for Sweden. It's ball in this time, skipping across, short was close to it. Pugh picks it up, she'll send it back in the middle, and it's up over the bar. So a very cool moment here. 17-year, and she just turned 17 last month as well. She's a young 17-year-old for that matter. Hanna Bennison, starter this year in the Swedish league as Rosengard won a title. In fact, scored the key goal that all but clinched the title for them with about a month to go in the season. She started playing with them as a 15-year-old. Earlier this year was with the U23s, playing against the U.S. for that matter. But boy, the journalists we talked to, the players we talked to, they are all excited to see her tonight, Alan.
They are, and the player said, look, we haven't seen much of her yet, but it says a lot for Peter to bring her into this environment because she could be playing with the youth team, but he's giving her that ascension to this level.
Making their second change, Sweden substitution.
Lorenzo Kulashi, 20 years of age, just her 6th international appearance. Returned to the team in October after not being a part of the World Cup.
By number 20,
I think Gerhards and Erdmann, those are the two players I want to see, and Janogy.
Bennison, for that matter, Peter Gerhardsen, the Sweden coach, told us yesterday she was actually in contention to be part of the World Cup squad this year at the age of 16 at the time. Now this week starts Saturday strong with the big noon Saturday game of the week. Maryland taking on Justin Fields and #1 Ohio State on Fox and the Fox Sports app. As that cross is going to come all the way through there. We are legally required to mention Ohio State football at least once while we're in Columbus for these games. So we see it often in these games out, and the subs start to come in, the rhythm sort of goes out. What do you want to keep seeing here? There you go.
That beanie, right?
What do you want to keep seeing here from the U.S. even as the changes start coming in to finish this game out?
Well, I'm really curious to see how Pugh does on the wing. I mean, she's one of the players that I've talked about could potentially benefit from this coaching change. Vlatko providing perhaps more of that methodical structure in the build-up, getting more players around her so she can combine and get herself in free space ultimately, because that's when she can do damage and get her confidence back up.
Still just the age of 21. Quickly, Lloyd past one defender, takes the bump from the second, trying to cut it into a dangerous area in the middle. Williams was close to it. It's going to be out for a corner.
The run from deep from Carly Lloyd offsets the Swedish defense, and then she cuts the recovering defender. It's been a tough day from Kullberg from Sweden. U.S. can't get the finishing touch.
Sullivan to take the corner now. In the middle there, no one there, but awkwardly dealt with by the Swedish defense. Pugh going to hold it in, couldn't do so. Kulashi just on the field. Was hounded to get this ball back. It was Williams there with the touch, and that was actually last off of Kulashi, out for a U.S. throw. And showing off that speed. It was that speed that almost actually kept her from being a part of things at Pepperdine. That was where she played college soccer. Every time the Pepperdine coaches came to scout her, she was away with the track team. And they didn't get to see her until very late in the process and basically had to take a chance on her. Story told of a practice session without field lights that they had to basically set up temporary lights, and the coaching staff sat on the back of a truck to try to see her because they had heard about her. She was the first player ever given a full ride at Pepperdine, has played her whole career now with, it was then Western New York, now North Carolina Courage, and getting a second opportunity with the United States. And Vlatko Andonovski, more than a year and a half after her last game for her national team.
And one of the great stories of what the NWSL can produce. Player that would have just continued on and never seen the light of day with this U.S. team had it not been for that league.
Next team is trying to hold that up. Pressure from Sullivan. Clean tackle, says the referee. Mewis comes away with it. Williams on a dead sprint to her right, instead looking to go left for Pugh. Alex, what are you hearing down there from the U.S. bench?
Well, Vlatko has really been directing each play from the bench. He's telling Mallory Pugh to press before Casey Short receives the ball. He's telling her to take 2 steps wide, then look inside. And he's pulled almost every midfielder aside to give them a little tip. And he told Sam Mewis before she went in to create some space. 2 steps. That's going to become the thing with Vlatko Andonovski.
You better have a good dance move if that's going to be his thing.
It's a good dance move by Horan there. We saw Andy Sullivan at one point coming over, getting instructions on a dead ball situation. Again, good footwork by Horan. Mewis knocked away by Kuhlberg. Lloyd's pressure forces an errant pass. Sonnet now. We'll hand back to Horan. Looking to clip that in. Lloyd sitting on a hat trick, but couldn't get on the end of it.
Well, here's the footwork from Horan. Just dices up the young 17-year-old Benison.
The great Horan, as she's known in my hometown of Portland. Williams intercepting that pass out of the back quickly in for Pugh. Good recovery by Kuhlberg there. Played back into a dangerous area there by the Swedish defense. Pugh couldn't do anything with it, though. Lawson a long run forward before handing it off to Jakobsen. Kulashi intercepted by Short. 2 more subs are in the wings for Sweden right now. Mewis. Short for Lloyd. Williams is in the middle. Pugh has it wide. Pugh running it on Gloss. He blocks the cross out for yet another U.S. corner. Minutes to go. A busy night for Hedvig Lindahl. 7 saves that she's made, 3 goals that she has conceded. Andy Sullivan standing over another U.S. corner. That's into a good area. Lloyd throwing her body in late. Stabbed away there. Bjorn. Fans certainly love the attempt there. And yet it comes to nothing there from Sonnet. She'll scream at the referee about it.
My college coach always said, don't go through the legs. The other players got the body position on you, can body you off the ball. Jakobsen does just that, wins possession back.
So Blackstenius, her night is done.
Making their 4th change, Sweden
Anna Onvegård, 22-year-old, just burst onto the scene last couple of years in the Swedish league. She actually moved mid-season to Rosengård, scored 9 goals in 9 games as they won the title. 14 goals this year, was the most in the Swedish league, and struggled to get off the bench in the World Cup, and also going to get Julia Karlinas, 26-year-old, making just her 4th international appearance, was not a part of the World Cup squad.
With Onvegård coming in, she's not as pacey as Blackstenius up top. She's a better combination player, and I think with Kulashi underneath, that's something that Sweden can look to try to utilize as an outlet. Because right now the U.S. has had Sweden pinned in. They can't even advance past halfway.
Thank you.
Correction. The last substitution was Sweden's 4th change.
On the run, Williams trying on the end of it.
And that last play by Sam Mewis is going to be the evolution, I think, of her as a player. She's so good. You saw how strong she's bodying off players trying to make a challenge, but then it's slowing down and putting some texture on that final ball.
goes for Jakobsen now. Air cross off the knee of Sauerbrunn out for a corner. They're not as busy as her counterpart. Just one save that she has had to make tonight. US has outshot Sweden 13-4. 10 of those 13 on target. We've seen this earlier in this half where they try to drop this ball right on top of her and all the traffic, and Anderson to take it. They're slammed into her left post trying to keep it out on the last one. Looking for the same thing. Short there with a touch. It's going to be out for another corner. To Koroleva, the referee, is just going to try to manage some of this. Further out, Lloyd got a header. Short there, a touch. Back on it goes to Anderson. Half-hearted appeals for a handball there as that cross was blocked. Sweden does well to keep it in the end as the U.S. is looking to break out. It's clipped in here now. Rolled back in front, and there's a goal. It was Bjorn on the cutback, and it's Anvegard who's celebrating the goal there. Been scoring tons of goals in the Swedish league, and with 15 minutes to go, the Swedes are on the board here in Columbus.
And it looked a little haphazard initially. Here's the poor clearance by the U.S. They can't clear their end, and it's that touch right there. Coming back into Bennison, the vision of the 17-year-old and the texture of that final ball is something special. Immediate impact. Bjorn gets around the edge, and then you've got two runners from Sweden converging at that near post. And it's Anvegard who gets the tap in. But that is something special.
Well, got some momentum here. See if they can do anything with it. That pass was too far for Jakobsen. Sauerbrunn with there pressure and gets it away for Sonnet. An hour left, and this was one-way traffic for most of it, but see if that goal changes anything or not. The pass for Pugh to chase, and alert Lindahl there up off the line to come get it. Sauerbrunn rising up there with Anvegard.
And the U.S. just continues to pick off possession from Sweden and those entry balls that they're trying to slice through the center of the park.
Lloyd drawing the foul there for Bjorn.
Oh, here's the last look at the special touch by the young 17-year-old Bennison in behind to Bjorn. And listen, Nair has to cover that near post. Sweden knows it. Glancing touch back across her.
Just a second international goal for Anvegard for all the goals that she scored in the Swedish league. Second in 14 internationally. Last was a year ago. This one's coverage is sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Just trying to to close out a victory on the opening night of the Vlatko Andonovski era. Lloyd 2 goals and an assist. Kristen Press got the other. They brought the subs in. Here's the second half has gone along on a cold, below freezing night here in Columbus, Ohio. Credit to the fans here that did come and did stick it out. You see Anna Hanvegård there. Scored that goal a few minutes ago. A shutout bid for Melissa Nair tonight. Something caused some more trouble. Short was pitching up there, and that ball came up over the top, and now Sauerbrunn and Nair not on the same page. It's an empty net. It's a second goal. Hanvegård there as Jakobsen played the ball inside. And all that good work from the U.S. at the back tonight undone in pretty quick succession, and all of a sudden it's a 1-goal game.
One of the few times they've tried to play a ball in behind into a wider area. This ball's laced by Bjornen, and then Nair off her line. The poor communication between her and Sauerbrunn. She's trying to just shepherd that ball back to her goalkeeper, body off her player, but Jakobsen gets that touch on it, and then Nair way out of position, and Hanvegård with a cool finish because there was still a defender to beat.
So 1 goal and 13 international appearances for the 22-year-old Hanvegård, and she's got 2 in about 5 minutes here. Coming on as a sub, and how does the U.S. react to this? Sauerbrunn taking the space forward. Lloyd looking to roll that in. Long run for Horan, not going to get there. Eriksson cleaning that up with Lindahl.
Well, that's how you react. Becky Sauerbrunn taking a positive touch, playing a positive pass. Carly Lloyd checking off that back line.
Horan got herself back on side. Going to play into the space for Williams to chase. She's going to get there. Lynn Williams, Hughes making the first run. Cut back into the middle. No one there. Except for Benazon. Short stepping forward to pick off the pass. Jakobsen goes to ground. Short went down as well. It's going to be a penalty.
And it really hasn't been a game that has been about the left side of the U.S., the right side of Sweden. This time, Casey Short gets the better of Jakobsen.
No VAR on this one.
No VAR.
Credit to Short for making the play. Jakobsen going to ground there. And it will be Carly Lloyd who will attempt to seal her hat trick tonight. 2 first-half goals, including a gem of a chip over Hedvig Lindahl. And Lloyd an opportunity from the spot to grab her 3rd of the night. And she puts it up over the bar.
Did not see that coming. Well, here's a look at the foul on Casey Short. Jakobsen trying to recover. And I think Casey Short trips herself up before Jakobsen even gets there. And then Lloyd blows that one over the top.
So frustrated Carly Lloyd after that one. 2 more subs coming for Sweden right now. Samuelsson, who's on now, a player that had been a regular for them at the 2015 World Cup and the Olympics. A series of injuries keeping her out from this last World Cup, her first appearance in over a year for a former teammate of Heather O'Reilly's at Arsenal. And Janogy as well coming on. She's made her debut in January and has been climbing the charts quickly. So 6 subs in total made by Sweden now tonight. The U.S. have made 4.
And Janogy's a spark plug off the bench. Player that's so good running at the opposition.
Sofia Jakobsen. Play into the space there for Kalashi to chase. And Sauerbrunn cleans it up. And Nair sends it right out. Well, this thing has a really different feel to it in the last 10 minutes or so. The first 70. Jakobsen getting a dangerous cross in. Sauer was defending there. Moran comes away with it. Williams wants the ball to chase. It's not the right angle.
And final substitution for Sweden.
And look, it can be part the substitutions. You talked about the break of rhythm that happens when players come into the match, but I also think as soon as Sweden scored that goal, it becomes more difficult for the U.S. to play out. They're under more pressure mentally. Now the second goal comes in, and they just don't look as confident when they're trying to play out the back. The resolution has to be there.
Pugh from short. Lloyd wants it through. She's going to get it. Flag comes up for offside. The play's dead. Well, you said in the first half, as you take a look back at the offside decision here.
And the ball just comes late. No pressure on Pugh. You know where Lloyd's going. Put that ball out earlier.
Samuelsson not able to connect the pass with Yanogi. When it was 3-0 early, you said, listen, if you're Sweden, don't shut it off. Keep going. You're going to learn from this. Is it similar for the U.S. now?
Yes.
Just keep going, learn from it, even if you're making mistakes.
Exactly. You're exactly right, John. And that's playing under that pressure when things aren't going as smoothly. Can you still be brave and play out of the back? Can you still be smart in the decisions that you're making to allow your team to find space, to break down the opposition? That's going to be the challenge with any manager coming in to tell his team to continue to play the way he sees them ultimately playing come Olympics.
We'll have a game this weekend in Jacksonville against Costa Rica. That will end up the year. You see the U.S. men will be in action here in FS1 a week from Tuesday against Cuba. As the American soccer year comes to a close. MLS Cup this weekend. We saw the NWSL final recently. USL final coming up this weekend as well. We'll rest up and load up and go back out in 2020. That broke down there for Jakobsen. Pugh stepping in. Sauber again looking at the direct pass, but it's out past everyone.
A different look for Sweden with some of these substitutions with Kulashi in that 10 role. Very different from Asllani. She's not as slashy as a player, but she's going to connect. And you're seeing what impact Bennison can have. Different questions being asked of the U.S. right now.
Again over the top, short trying to recover, and the ball for Jakobsen. Who gets across in the middle. Dawn Kemper was there. Jakobsen with the speed to keep it in play. Then trying to get a middle for Kulashi. Flag's going to come up for offside as Yanogi was trying to get herself back onside. Catherine Nesbitt, who was an assistant referee at the World Cup, making that call. Well, what's he thinking now? First half, you said he would be just, thank you, I'm happy at 3-0. What does he think about things now?
He's like, hold on, give me the W in my first cap as a manager. No, I mean, with this team, I think you've got to continue to encourage them to play out, but you're sitting up 3-2, 5 minutes left in the match. You also have to have end-of-the-match tactics, and that's something that's important.
Sauerbrunn stepping in there. He was able to keep under pressure, couldn't connect the pass with Pugh.
My guess is he's going to have a few more grays by the end of his tenure.
It always seems to happen, doesn't it? Pass breaks down. Bjorn, who slid back to center back for a midfield position with these subs here in the second half. The teenager Bennison stepping in there to try to win the ball, although Pugh picks it back up for the U.S. Now can they keep it? Well, had to step forward there, flying through in the end, in fact. Samuelsson is now popping up on the right side, and Gloss has switched to the left back. Short intercepting that one. He couldn't quite pull off that move, but wins a foul in the end. Peter Gerhardsson, the Sweden coach, popping up off his seat to bark at the referee about it.
And one of the things the U.S. did well in that first half was changing it from one side to the other. They've been stuck on this left side for the last 10 minutes or so. Whether it's Sauerbrunn dropping and getting the ball in a deep position so she can spring the other side. or a midfielder playing out. They've got to figure out how to get it over to the weak side.
Here comes now. Sonnet looking long. Williams was coming back forwards it. Lloyd got the touch in front of the defender. Carly Lloyd now a chance to complete the hat trick. She's pushed off at Mewis the late run. Her shot was blocked. It looked like a handball on Jakobsen, and it is.
Well, initially I thought this was going to be a poor pass, but Carly Lloyd does incredibly well to beat it. Eriksson there, and then cuts across the middle. I think she's got to release that ball sooner. But you can't blame her for thirsting for that one. She's had such a good night.
The U.S. will take this time. They'll take their time on the free kick. Lindahl's made 7 saves officially tonight. 10 shots that she has faced on target. Sullivan now standing over the free kick. She was looking over at Vlatko Andonovski to get instructions for it. Everyone back to defend for Sweden. They've left no one up for a counter. Tipped in Lloyd in the area. Couldn't get to it. Renazon as far as Sonnet. The pass to Janogy now. Eriksson on the near side, and it's good work tracking back there by Williams to prevent that pass. Mewis into the space for Lloyd. Lindahl's going to come all the way out there to pick this up. Into the 90th minute now. Heard from downstairs of 2 minutes. Stoppage time on the way. Well, really, all said and done, it's a pretty fun night. 5 goals tonight. We've seen interesting things from both of these teams. Great rivalry renewed. The pressure again. Williams picking it up. It was Sullivan doing the work up front. And it's going to be a free kick for the U.S. and a yellow card coming out. Helena Eriksson shown it.
And it's become incredibly open in these waning moments. The clip on Williams. And the U.S. just lost a bit of the control of the match in the second half.
So into 2-minute stoppage time. Trying to catch her breath from that sprint out of her box up into the midfield. And Sullivan again to play this ball in. And Sonnet peeling away on the far side is an option. She'll get it. She'll just stick this thing in the corner and try to milk some seconds. Sullivan, Sonnet, trying to return and does. Anderson and Sullivan battling down there in the corner, and it's going to be a corner for the U.S. 1 minute exhausted. Here of the 2 in stoppage time. As Alexi Lawless said, no one remembers the how, they only remember the what. Did you win or did you not? That man is almost there to a win in his first game as coach of the United States.
Some of us remember the how.
Time enough for one more attack for Sweden. Nogi there committing a foul, coming up over the back of Sonnet. Ninth full-time head coach in what is now the 35th year of international competition for the women of the United States. Vlatko Andonovski inheriting a World Cup winner, taking over for a FIFA World Coach of the Year. He get a W on opening night. Yes, he can. There's the final whistle. 3 first-half goals, enough to withstand the second-half surge from Sweden. And a 3-2 win for the United States. Getting life underway under Vlatko Andonovski. Allie, what's your takeaway from this?
Biggest winner, Carly Lloyd. Besides Vlatko getting that W, That number 9 role is up for grabs with Alex Morgan out with pregnancy. Yes, she's going to try to make a comeback, but Carly Lloyd made a statement tonight. She was incredibly active. I think the way that she helped the team advance into the final third was as important as her 2 goals. Could have been 3 with that penalty. But Carly Lloyd had a massive night. And look, he had 4 or 5 days of training. This is just the beginning. Let's not take anything out of context. This is a new era, and what this team looks like in 3 months, 5 months from now is not what we're seeing tonight, but it's still a good start.
For that matter, a matter of weeks really going into the new year, and opening camp in January and the Olympic qualifiers at the end of January, the clock ticking quickly as the U.S. tries to turn it around. Lloyd and Aslani, former teammates actually at club level at Manchester City, having a chat at the end there. Couldn't get her hat trick, put the penalty up over the bar, but 2 goals and an assist for her. And a win for Vlatko Andonovski in his first game in charge. His second game will come this weekend against Costa Rica. Well, that's all for us tonight here in frigid Columbus. For Sarah Walsh, Heather O'Reilly, Alexi Lawless, Alex Curry, and Allie Wagner, I'm John Strong saying good night from Columbus, Ohio, as the United States wins the first game of the Vlatko Andonovski era 3-2 over Sweden.